Now, this is a strong prediction, you guys, but I'm figuring Diddy's going to be found guilty for the most part. It's not looking too good. I feel like if he was going to be found not guilty, they would have just went ahead and announced it. But the fact that the jurors are still deliberating tells you a lot. So I think more than likely Diddy's going to be guilty. But we're going to go ahead and break it down and get into all that, as well as talk about how Gina, yeah, the one who went in hiding, Gina contacted Tasha K about doing another interview. And what's Dennis Byron, his beef with Tisa Tells? Is she a government plant? Let's go ahead and discuss all of it. Let's get to it, y'all. One thing I'm happy about with this Diddy case coming close to an end is get these nuts out this courthouse. They've been irritating me. They get on my nerves. I am ready for all these asses to go back home where they belong. Like, Jesus. That's also the other reason why I don't talk about this all the time, is because you got them people outside the courthouse acting like damn fool. And the thing that sucks is that they melanated, they colored, they black people acting like damn fool out that courthouse. I can't wait for all they black asses to go home. But what's up, everybody? Welcome to it. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree. Put a 2 in the chat you don't. But what's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Talk the Real Deal with AT2. And yes, I'm your boy AT2. How everybody doing? How everybody feeling? How everybody living today? Let me say what's up to the people before we start. What's up, Purely Plush? What's up, Yolanda? What's up, Shawnee? What's up, Foreign Bay? Yes, this is live. What's up, Winnie? What's up, Joy? Shout out to Jackie. Oh, there you are. What's up, Jackie? What's up, Marlon? What's up, Darcy? Who else we got here? Adrian. Hello, hello, hello. Yes, Joy. Yes, everybody excited. Like, go home. We ready for y'all to go home. Like, y'all done acted a goddamn fool this whole time. And shout out to the people doing the work. You know, I do want to say shout out to the people actually out there doing the work and all that good stuff, right? And Jay, thank you so much. So a lot of y'all were like AT2. So for those of you who don't know, I uploaded a video and you guys are all like, I love the new set, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh shit, I hope they know that's not my set, because when they see this, they're going to be like, wait, what the hell happened to your setup? So remember, I told you guys I went to LA to go film. So yeah, that was a part of the filming. So you'll see more videos in that new studio setup. Shout out to Sean, aka ASAP, another Sean Allen podcast. Shout out to him. That's actually his studio. So if you guys are in the LA area, hit him up. And yeah, Sean, yeah, the one that, yeah, we actually talked about the whole TGIF thing. So you guys will go ahead and get his perception and his perspective on what happened with the whole TGIF breakdown. So you guys will see that and hear that soon. So, but yeah, shout out to Sean. He's dope as hell, and I enjoy getting the chance to meet him. And like I said, you'll get on this platform and people talk about, oh, I want to see you do good. I want to help you out, blah, blah, blah. And then people don't really help you out. I can honestly say that he has been the only one to really help me out as far as wanting me to succeed and do better. You know, well, it's a nice mix. We love both sets. Thank you. Okay, y'all do like both sets. Okay, thank you, Jay. I appreciate that. Oh, no, that was Purely Plush. No, thank you, Purely Plush. I appreciate that. Thank you. And shout out to Jay, too, who said, like, the new setup. Laugh my ass off at the title. Well, not yet. Yeah. Well, technically, here's the thing. Let's go ahead and get into it. Okay. So we had heard, at least around 3 o'clock my time, that it was this whole commotion going on because the jurors had, they basically, on 4 counts, they came to a decision, right? But there's the one. The one is actually the racketeering. So one is racketeering. Count two is sex trafficking with Cassie. Count three is the Mann Act with Cassie. Count four is sex trafficking with Jane Doe. And then four is the Mann Act with Jane Doe. Now, the Mann Act, just to let you guys know, that's the transferring of the people. It was an act enacted back in a few years ago, all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. It's called the Mann Act, MANN. I don't want to bore you with the specifics, but it all deals with the trafficking, basically. Now, the reason why, and so what's going on is that they have a partial verdict, but the judge told them to go back and still deliberate. The thing that ended up happening was that it was already almost 5 o'clock, and they were all like, yeah, we trying to go home. We ain't trying to stay the whole time. So now they have to come back tomorrow, which I don't blame them. Like, I wouldn't want to be there still deliberating. It seems like, as we understand, it's very mixed on this for the racketeering charge. So that's why they're kind of all like, okay, well, we want you to give y'all time, go back and deliberate. Because I don't know if you guys know, a lot of people think, okay, if they can't come to a decision on the racketeering, just know Diddy can be retried. That is not double jeopardy. If they cannot come with a decision on the racketeering, and it's and you know, they just I don't want to say a mistrial, because that mistrial will consider the whole thing, but they can't come to a decision on the racketeering, then it can be retried again. And that is not considered double jeopardy. So this is why with the racketeering charge, they want to go ahead and get a decision on that, because for the defense, they definitely want that. So then they ain't got to do this shit again. And then for the prosecution, yeah, they don't want to go through. Yeah, that's a lot to go through all of this again. And I think for all of us, we're kind of sick of it. And I don't want to say that we don't care about victims and stuff like that, but I think just with the whole circus and everything that has happened leading up to this point, we're all kind of just all like, all right, let's get this going. Let's get this done. And I think also, too, we kind of been focusing on all of this stuff that has gone on with Diddy, but really, I feel that other people are worried like, damn, and I'm talking about celebrities in general, are worried like, damn, maybe I can go down for this, because I would definitely think so. As far as taking somebody from a different state and transporting them somewhere. You know, you have these Instagram models who get flued out all the time. You know, it's even called flued out. They get flued out all the time, and they go see these rappers, athletes, they do, and then go back home. They're worried like, damn, that might be counted as trafficking as well, too. Well, for me and you, I just want to let you know, first of all, we ain't got that kind of money, right? I can barely pay you gas. I don't know if gas counts as trafficking, too, but anyway. Oh, shut up. Anyway, with us, it's consensual, and we're not necessarily buying or have the intent to for prostitution. Because when you look at it, even though Diddy and Cassie were in a relationship since 2009 or whatnot, were they actually in a relationship, or was this kind of like an open arrangement? You know, when you think about it, just think about it for a minute. Was it an actual relationship, or was this like an arrangement? Because whenever they would do it or get ready to, you know, have a situation, Diddy always wanted a freak off. And we see with Jane Doe, he would trick her and be like, yeah, it's just going to be me and you. You know, we're going to be movie nights. But even the movie nights consisted of them watching the freak off videos. So did they actually have a relationship? You know? Is it real? Like, did Diddy love any of these girls? Not just Cassie and Jane Doe, but I'm talking about all of them. The baby mamas, everybody. Did he actually love them? I don't think he did. So even with that being said, that more entails like I'm about to say something that offends y'all. We're gonna do a 30-second countdown. But all the women that were with Diddy, past and present, I'm assuming that they all were sex workers. You know, that's how I feel because, mind you, was there ever a time when Diddy was like faithful in a relationship? Yeah, you could throw J Lo in there too. Yeah, because he was dealing with Kim during that time he was with J Lo. Thank you, sir. It was an arrangement of codependency. Diddy is malignant. Right. Narcissist. He doesn't love anyone. AT2. Exactly. And I can't think like these girls actually thought he was in love because let's just go. And these are probably not even all the women, right? Misa, he was with Misa, but then with Misa, he was dealing with Kim at the same time. Then with Kim, he was dealing with J Lo. He broke up with J Lo, still dealing with Kim. But while Kim was pregnant, he also had a baby on her with Sarah. And then you move on from Sarah to Cassie. Cassie, Cassie and Diddy, for the most part, they were together. But I feel like there are some women also when Cassie, well, we know Gina. Gina was there. Ding, 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 duh. Gina and Cassie overlapped and that back and forth. And then I'm pretty sure there was another girl at that time. I know Lori Harvey and all that was a little bit later, but even with the Lori Harvey situation, there was the Dana Tran who's has baby love. And so Diddy has always had multiple different women. Again, Young Miami, Gina, Jane Doe is mixed in with Gina and Young Miami during that time. Like he never just had one woman. It was always mixed in with a whole bunch of other. You guys get what I'm saying, right? So with a man who has that kind of history, like, were you ever convinced that you were truly in a relationship? I don't know if you could ever be convinced that maybe in the beginning, when you first get together in the beginning, yeah, you think that this might be a real relationship, right? We're not going to lie about that. But after that, like knowing that this has happened multiple times with multiple different women, like, do you truly feel like you're in a relationship? I don't know. I don't know. Son said, no, yes, a woman can. Oh, man. The ex workers and unnamed males. But that, though, laugh out loud. Yeah. I honestly don't feel like they actually thought they were in a relationship. I feel like they liked the lifestyle and didn't want to change their lifestyle. So they just dealt with the shit. And that's everybody who has dealt with Diddy. Some people are long and gone, but something that we skimmed over that we don't talk about is that he was doing freak offs with Kim Porter because remember Capricorn, the former assistant, was all like, yeah, I had to set up hotels for him and Kim as well too. And it's all like, oh Lord, had. But then you think, okay, Dana Tran, Sarah Chapman, Misa was the original girl. So yeah, and Misa has even said that she when Cassie video came out, she made a statement said like she dealt with her own abuse and it was triggering for her. Also, shout out to 50 Cent baby mama. 50 Cent baby mama was all like, yeah, Misa would talk about how Diddy beat her and did stuff to her. So Diddy has a long history of this. Now, I know with the case, it's only the 10 years or whatever, but going back, just looking at Diddy's dating history and what he likes to do and how he does things, yeah, this is in his nature. This is what he do. You can't tell me that Cassie was the first time like he experienced this. It's just that I guess because the statutes of limitations, they can only go with Cassie and the women afterwards. You know, I honestly wonder if Young Miami was interviewed by the feds. Something tells me that they did talk to her, but probably wasn't able to get anything out of her. And she played it cool. She played her role. And granted, he could have been treating Young Miami differently. I do think that. I do think that he treated her differently. He treated her like she was special. I don't think he was beating on her and doing X, Y, and Z. I don't think that. But definitely, the way that he plays these women, he probably played the same games, except, you know, without all the beating and all that. But again, back to the verdict and everything like that. I do feel that with Cassie, it's a strong case. So I definitely think those are going to get guilty. If you just look at what the charges are, I do feel that with Jane Doe, even though we're skeptical of Jane Doe, right? We kind of looked at Jane Doe and are like, well, you still getting your rent paid by him, and this just seems like your moment to get your revenge because you mad that you weren't the main girl. I even think that he's gonna go down for Jane Doe. Now, as far as the racketeering, the whole Rico conspiracy, I don't think so. And the reason being, and I feel like just like how we've been feeling about it, well, how come there's only one person, you know what I mean, in a Rico? Now, I know they're saying that they're going to get KK and Fahim and D-Rock. I know they're saying that they're coming next, but okay, well, why haven't you charged them yet? I almost feel like they're seeing the way how this goes, so then that can determine how they're going to charge them. You see what I'm saying? Like, say for instance, Diddy gets off, then they are like, oh shit, now we have to find out how to then charge KK, Fahim, and D-Rock. Because those are the co-conspirators, by the way, if you guys didn't know. Those are the co-conspirators. So I'm thinking like, okay, they're trying to see how this goes first, and then they can go and, you know, charge them appropriately. I'm not saying he isn't guilty, but it's of these acts. I'm not saying he isn't guilty of these. Let me read your other comment. Some of these bras didn't want to open relationships. Some of them didn't care about anything until they were financially cut off. Oh, okay. Now I get what you're saying. Okay. Well, believe it when we see it. I can believe that. Young Miami might have still been in the love bombing stage. Could be. I'm saying that the same. Okay, here we go. I'm saying that some of these victims are also shady, and yeah, I agree as well too. I've actually talked about this, which you guys will see that video soon. I did talk about that. Young Miami wasn't doing freak offs. I heard she was watching Jane Doe sex tapes with him though. I could definitely see. Here's the thing. Young Miami knows something because remember she called Gina an eater, said I can make you get on your knees and eat. Yeah. Remember that? So yeah, I do think she knows more than what she's leading on. He was scared of the Miami boys and her uncle who ran Miami at one point. Oh, okay. Princess said, read my other comments, scroll up. Why we never asked the question about Hugh Hefner and his girlfriends. Well, I know they've done documentaries on his on the Playboy Mansion and stuff like that. And also too, I think because he's dead, that's why it's kind of like, okay, well, now it's I don't want to say who cares, but at the time it's not relevant because there's nothing you can really do. unless the girls can do civil cases and sue the estate or something like that, I don't think there's anything that can be done now. But yeah, there's documentaries on Hugh Hefner. And he had the complexion for the protection too, as well. Yeah, I can definitely see that. Oh, also in the courtroom, it was said that when the verdict came in for the 4 counts, Diddy was passed a note and then he put his head down. So that's also why I'm thinking, like, okay, it's looking a certain kind of way. And don't forget too, when the when it was known that they had a partial verdict as well, the family came back. Remember, they were there in the beginning, and then they later came back again when they heard that there was a partial verdict. So it's almost like they were waiting to see, okay, is this finally the end, or is he going to be free? Don't know. I definitely, like I said, I'm still standing on that. I feel like he's going to be guilty of the 4 counts at least. The racketeering, that one still is out. And I know racketeering, it kind of encompasses everything overall. So that's why that's the big one. And also that can give him life in prison, which more than likely I see him doing about 20 years. I don't think the judge is going to go easy on him. But usually when it comes to the sentencing, that always comes a couple of months later. Now the sentencing, I might go to New York for that one. I ain't gonna lie, I might go to New York for that one. That's gonna be huge. He knew that he was found guilty on some and not. Yeah, and like I said, also too, the way that they have to come up with their verdict is basically line by line. Like, did this person do X, Y, and Z? Did they do this? Did they do that? And of course, your own personal feelings and how you feel about the situation go into effect as well too. But the way that the jury has to come down with their verdict, it's basically like, okay, did he have the intent to traffic? Did he have the intent to blah blah blah? Did he da 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 da? So everything is kind of structured and laid out to where you look at it and be like, okay, well, yeah, yeah, well, no, maybe not, but yeah, yeah, no, not this, but yeah. And so that's how they kind of come down with their verdict. So but because I feel like a lot of people are mixing their own personal feelings, like, well, I don't think Diddy really did anything, and blah blah blah. Yeah, was this like the strongest case? Like, was there like 30 billion bajillion women that he done trafficked and on? No, it wasn't like that. And I think also too, the reason why a lot of us are like, oh, I don't think Diddy did anything bad, or I don't think he should go down for this, is because it wasn't as salacious as we thought it was. This kind of goes into my conspiracy theorist video that I did before this one. It wasn't this. The story is not as juicy as we thought it was going to be. Before this case went to trial, oh, there was so much out there, like, oh yeah, this person gonna be on tape, this da, 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 da. And then oh yeah, and then Diddy, he used to do this and that. And when the truth came out, the truth wasn't as fun or as salacious as all the internet conspiracy theories that were out there. A lot of people that we thought were going to testify did not. I remember there was a content creator that did a video and was all like, the Jane Doe. This was before we knew who Jane Doe was going to be, right? They're like, Jane Doe is going to be Allie Carter. She has all the secrets and she know that. Listen, was Allie Carter even called by the feds? Did they actually take Allie Carter serious? No. Just like when it comes down to Courtney Burgess, who had those tapes, when him and Ariel went to go to the grand jury and all that, what came of those tapes? Nothing, you know? So you had all these people throwing all this internet conspiracy shit out there. And then when we finally got the truth, it was all like, oh, well, this is it. You know, we was all like, where are the sex parties? Where are the orgy parties with Jay-Z and Beyonce? You know? Now that we know this is just Diddy's own private thing that he did with him and his girls, it's like, oh, okay, you know, I guess. Yeah, exactly. And also hit that like button too, you guys. Thank you, beautiful. But yeah, hit that like button as well. I think now that we know that this was just some kind of private thing that him, his girl, and his escorts did, is all like, oh, well, Diddy was just a freak, basically. Now, does that excuse him from beating and dragging Cassie back in the room and all that stuff? No, that does not excuse him at all. I would never say that. But the magnitude of this case, we just thought it would be more. That's the honest truth. We just thought it would be more. Now that we know that it really kind of, and I hate to say lackluster, like it doesn't matter what he did, but it is in the terms of it's not as salacious as we thought. That's what I'm gonna say. It's not as salacious as we thought. Pretty much black and white. I also wanted to go into Tasha K. Now, I try to pull up the video and find the timestamp, but it's a long video, so I can't. So I'm just going to tell you. Y'all know that Gina was seen out today, and they asked her. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Hold on. Miss Gina. Gina. And then we'll get into what Tasha K said. I have to play it through a third party because I don't know if you guys know, TMZ will put a claim on your video and all that. So yeah, I got to play it through a third party. So excuse me. And that's actually a tip out there for content creators. Play it through a third party.
Hi, Gina. How you doing? I have a quick question for you. You think Diddy's going to win this trial? You don't know? Okay. I've been hearing a lot of stories. Everybody been hearing like maybe you were kidnapped or like something like crazy. Like we're just hearing a lot of stuff. Is there anything you can clear up or anything like that?
No, I'm safe. I'm not kidnapped.
Real quick, before you go, I just what I want to know. If Diddy does win this trial, do you think your life will be threatened in any kind of way?
No.
You don't think so? You think everything will be safe? Because the girl Aubrey O'Day, she said that if Diddy wins, she's gonna leave the country.
I mean, he never did anything dangerous to me. I'm not scared.
You're not scared? Okay, well, I appreciate that. Thank you. That's all I wanted to know. Okay.
This kind of goes hand in hand with this comment because, as you guys know, Gina did that interview with Tasha K, right? And was all like, she had the baby kicked out of her and he beat her and all this other stuff. And now she's saying Diddy didn't do anything. He wasn't dangerous to me. Really? Like, we didn't have that interview that you did? So are you trying to say that you in turn lied, or what are you trying to say? You know? So you have these kind of women who will be all like, oh no, that's not true, and this kind of stuff, and trying to protect him. But literally, it's all like, no, we have what you originally said. And we've seen it. This is why people have been talking about Tasha K's interview with her, because she said a lot. And mind you, this before Kathy filed a lawsuit or anything like that. So we knew about Gina. We knew about how Diddy was violent. You said it, but now you're saying, "Oh, I'm not worried. He's not dangerous." Yeah, that girl definitely was paid off, or she's being taken care of, just like Jane Doe was. Because mind you, if Jane Doe wasn't going to get charged, Jane Doe would still, would have been with Diddy's defense. But when they told Jane Doe, like, "Oh yeah, you was trafficking drugs," you going down too. So you take this immunity and you testify. Must be AI. You feel like that was AI? No, she was just paid off, And of course she's not worried. She taken care of. Now, I highly doubt if Diddy gets off, he's gonna come out doing, the freak off stuff. I think if anything, he probably gonna go to some deserted island somewhere and just be secluded by himself. I don't think he's gonna be king of freak offs no more. But you're literally saying this man is not dangerous, but yet he stomped a baby out of you and stuff like that, right? So that's a little confusing. But I want to go with what Tasha K said earlier. I was watching her show, and at one point, I should have wrote down the timestamp too. I apologize. But if you watch the show, she actually said that when Diddy went down with the indictments, Gina asked for another interview. She was like, "Hey, can I do another interview? But I need to be paid." And Tasha was all like, "No, we don't pay you. We'll pay for your flight, hotel, and what you need to get down here, but we're not going to pay you for an interview." And Gina was, hell bent on like, "Hey, I need to be paid for a new interview." And mind you, this is after the indictment. Now, here's the thing. Tasha revealed that she believes the reason why Gina wanted to be paid and wanted to come back on the show is so then she could be like, "Oh, well, Tasha paid me. This is why I said those things, blah, 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 blah." And I was all like, what if Diddy got in contact with Gina and was all like, "I need you to..." Oh, thank you, here. I appreciate that. Thank you for the super chat. And good morning. I need, like, Diddy and his team was probably like, "I need you to go back to Tasha K, do an interview, and probably say, 'Oh, no, none of these things are true, and blah, blah, blah. I lied.'" Like, I don't think the interview would have been salacious at all. She was trying to set up Tasha by getting Tasha to pay and be all like, "Oh, well, see, Tasha K paid her for that interview. That means that all that stuff she said she was paid to do, blah, blah, blah." Luckily, Tasha was smart enough to be all like, "Oh, no, we ain't dealing with that." Gina, and you guys are right. I don't think that she is that smart. I think Gina is dumb. However, Gina is just going to do what she's told. So she was probably told by Diddy to come and do some kind of interview shit. I see why the prosecutors did not want her to come and testify. Like, because remember, she was supposed to testify and then she went missing all of a sudden. I think, honestly, when they thought about it, there's like, she's a liability. And the reason why she'd be a liability is because she would come on stand. And I don't think she would necessarily perjure herself, but I feel like Gina would have been like, "Oh, wait, huh? What? Huh? I don't remember that." Or "I don't recall." That's what, when you hear them say "I don't recall," that means more than likely they're lying and they just don't want to say what it is. She would have got on that stand and been like, "I don't recall. I don't recall. I don't recall." And so it would have been a waste of time. And I think, if anything, that would have swayed the jurors to be all like, "See, these people are just making shit up about Diddy. This girl's on the stand not saying anything, saying that she can't recall this, she can't recall that." So there was no point in having her. I think that would have been, even though people look at Jane Doe like she wasn't a good witness, I think as far as answering the questions, she was a good witness for that. If you compare Gina to Jane Doe, Gina definitely would have went up there and did some fuck shit. Where you have Jane Doe, at least we might not liked or seen her as a victim, but she answered the questions the way they're supposed to be answered, where you can basically, you have something to work with. She might not be the perfect victim, but you had something to work with at least. Gina got that bag. Do y'all think Gina was paid off, or do you think that her housing and stuff is probably paid like Jane Doe? I think she got a Jane Doe situation. I don't think necessarily she got paid off. I think she has a Jane Doe situation where her housing and stuff like that is paid for. All right, let me just ask y'all. Let's do a 30-second countdown. Was Gina paid off? Yes or no? Yeah, I'm thinking more like housing and stuff like that because I feel like the prosecution would have used that against Diddy if he, paid her like a lump sum of money, which I was so surprised that they didn't bring up the fact that Gina was put on payroll like she was an employee. I felt like that should have been in the case. So a while ago, Tasha K had did an update on Gina, right? And I forgot what show it was, but it was like a few years back. But she was all like, "Oh, a lot of y'all wanted an update on Gina. Well, Gina is being paid by Diddy. She's a part of the marketing team or whatever, right? She had some kind of title within the company, and she was basically paid like $1 million a year or something to be his marketing agent. So I'm surprised they didn't bring up that contract because that would have proven like, yeah, he's hiring these people and they're not actually employees. They're within his organization. Like, I feel like that would have further proved the whole RICO thing. That would have further helped for the RICO. It's really unfortunate the cast of characters in this case. Yeah. Because hell, we talk about Jane Doe, but Cassie wasn't a perfect victim either. Cassie had a lot of dings against her, and happy 5 months, by the way, beautiful. Cassie had a lot of, mishaps and stuff like that. Yeah. It's a lot. Definitely a lot. Now, again, one thing that I think that kind of helps with the racketeering was that a lot of these players that were with Diddy was moving and doing things for him. Now, my defense would be, oh, I didn't know what I was doing. I thought I was just doing a job for, my boss. I didn't know. Trust me, I would play so dumb like I didn't know anything. But, they knew what was going on. That's the problem. Especially KK, aka Christina Corum. Christina Corum was, doing the flights, the hotels, the everything. Oh yeah, you knew what was going on. That one definitely would go down. His security, maybe I could see them, possibly going down. But Christina Corum, his chief of staff, the one that basically organized and orchestrated the freak offs. Oh yeah, she going down. She definitely going down. Yeah, that one you can't. I mean, if you think about it, her name has been up and down through this whole case. Up and down through the whole case. Like every situation, everybody had something to say about Christina Corum. There's no way that she is not going down. Yeah, her time is definitely coming. But yeah, I wanted to update you guys on that Tasha K situation. So Tasha said that Gina reached out to her after the indictment to do another interview. She was hell bent on being paid, but Tasha was all like, "Yeah, we don't do that. We don't pay people for interviews." But that was probably a setup to say, "Oh, Tasha K paid me to say all these things, blah blah blah." So luckily, she didn't. All right. So remember, I said earlier, I can't wait for this case to be over because these nuts is acting a goddamn fool at the courthouse. Well, did y'all know that Dennis Byron, now he's claiming like he don't hate Tisa, but he basically put out there that Tisa is a government plant. That's the way I took this, y'all. He basically saying Tisa is a government plant. I honestly don't know what other way to take it. He said, government in the Sean Diddy Combs case gave YouTuber Tisa Tells VIP seating during the trial. There is also a gag order in place for lawyers not to speak to the media regarding the case. Diddy trial, Diddy trial. She has been campaigning against Combs since trial has started. Just my observation. Without him saying it, I feel like he alluded to her being a government plant, or at least a plant for the lawyers. Now, I do know Tisa has said that she's one of the people that pay people to stand in line for her so she can get in. And I don't know what he mean by VIP seat. Like, is she sitting like right behind Diddy or something like that? Like, what he mean by VIP seating? Does anybody know where Tisa Tells sitting in the courthouse? And that's the thing. Coffee is brewing. He's been campaigning for Diddy. You're like, oh, Diddy ain't going down. Diddy gonna be off. Blah blah blah. Not sassy bit. I can see that. I can see that. Oh, this isn't his first time doing this. Remember, he had issues with Megan Cunith. You know, the reporter, Megan the reporter. Remember her? It seemed like anybody that gets like some kind of special attention, it seemed like he be hating on it. It do. Oh, she does sit behind Diddy. Tisa being on Diddy for a long time. True. Yeah. Because with this tweet, I'm all like, is he alluding to Tisa being paid or what else? And let me just read this one. There was a lot of comments, but let me just read this one because I was all like, yeah, I think this person is right. So this person said, free my soul. They said, so stop dropping in her lives being fake and phony. Do you say that to her face? I haven't heard it anytime you just happen to walk by her while she's on live. Just my observation. And again, it's quite interesting that he's saying this now. Right here, everybody pays line sitters. It's not just Tisa who does it. But what was he alluding to? You know, that's my thing. What was he alluding to? Like, you have to be alluding to that she's some kind of government plant, or she there, you know, paid by the defense. I mean, not the defense, the prosecutors to tell a narrative and try to persuade the people. And granted, does Tisa go in on Diddy and stuff like that? Yeah, she goes in hard on Diddy, and basically she's pro the victims or pro the prosecution. I totally get that. I understand it. However, I also cannot say that she's being paid or funded by, or, you know, somebody is putting her in a special position for her to get any kind of special privileges. I can't say that. And I don't think that she's paying line sitters like everybody else, or like some people do, paying line sitters. Maybe he doesn't know that, or he hasn't done his research, or hell, nigga, pay for you a line sitter. Oh, Mark said, I don't think he's implying she's being paid. It seems like the government is using her for propaganda. But see, even then, this is my pushback on that. Even if Tisa Tells, it's like, oh, Diddy is guilty, Diddy is guilty. Court of public opinion is one thing, but is that going to sway the jury? I don't feel like it matters. Joy said Tisa is breaking her butt to save face. This one because she went down in flames trying to hang Jay-Z. Oh, that is true. That is true. And by the way, I guess Tony Busby won. He got the case dismissed on him. You know, Jay-Z did a lawsuit against Tony Busby. I think Jay-Z should refile on that ass. I feel like he should refile. Get his ass, Jay-Z. Get his ass. No, because Tisa have been on Diddy's neck for years. The government isn't paying her. Yeah, this is kind of, because I see it this way, right? So Tisa has built her channel. She talks about a variety of things, but what she's known for is really the Diddy stuff, right? So say if Tisa didn't go to the courthouse or she didn't, go down there, people are like, well, Tisa, where you at? Like, out of all people, you ain't went down there? Like, Diddy is your whole, like, your channel base, right? So it makes sense for her to be down there. And yeah, she is going to be more against Diddy in this case because her fan base is kind of built off of Diddy is this monster, Diddy is this, Diddy is that. Now, if I want to have an unbiased opinion, I am not going to go to Tisa Tells for an unbiased opinion. That's just me personally. And mind you, I'm subscribed to Tisa Tells and I watch Tisa Tells, but I know when Tisa tells something, no pun intended, but I know when Tisa tells something, it's not going to be it's not going to be positive for Diddy. This is why you should watch all sides, But I don't feel like Tisa is the only one that's like against Diddy. I feel like for the most part, a lot of YouTubers are. There's only a few that I can name that are like, I would say fair. I think Ratchet TV. I feel like he's more or less like, I don't think Diddy's going to go down for this. Like, he's not excusing saying that Diddy's an innocent guy. He's not saying that. But as far as the case, he gives his opinion to where it's not just, oh, yeah, Diddy is this. He's going down. He's going to be guilty, blah, blah, blah. It's more up in the air. But I feel like also, too, this depends on, like, people's different styles. Because easily I can go back to Dennis Byron and be like, well, Dennis Byron, he sucks Diddy's ass. Like, he's pro Diddy and everything like that, right? Dennis Byron is very biased, but he's biased another way. So you have two different spectrums where you have Tisa Tells anti-Diddy. Then you have Dennis Byron who's pro Diddy. But all in all, with all that being said, what's up, Miss Byron? All that being said, I feel that you need the different spectrums. You need people on the extreme on one end and on the extreme of the other end. But I also feel you implying that, she gets some special VIP privilege and stuff like that. That's saying that and putting that out there, that's implying what we think. Like, okay, yeah, she's being sponsored by somebody. She got the hookup. She got the inside scoop and stuff like. And I don't think that Tisa Tells has the inside scoop. I'm just saying that. But based on his tweet, it seemed like. Let me ask y'all. Do you think Dennis Byron was implying that Tisa Tells is working for the government or working with the prosecutors? Do you think that his tweet? And let me ask it this way. Do you feel that Dennis Byron tweet implied something? Yes or no? Let's go. Okay. I only got one no there. Okay. No. Okay. Jomo said no. Okay. And again, I love that we have difference of opinions. He's jealous. Somebody, and I missed it, but somebody said they think that a lot of it has to do with looks. That's interesting. Yes, Dennis tweet implied Tisa on the Fed. Yeah. Okay, let me ask this question. Do you think that Dennis Byron... No. How do I put this? Yeah, let me ask this question. Do you think that Dennis Byron is biased? Yes or no? Hey, Demetria. Yeah, everybody say yeah to that. Okay, we got to be fair on all sides because, mind you, I don't know none of these hoes, so it don't matter to me. Is Tisa Tells biased? Yes or no? We talking about Tisa Tells now. Is Tisa Tells biased? Yes or no? Oh, that one was a little mixed. Okay. So a few of y'all said no. TT said fair. Okay. So as a content creator, you kind of already have basically what you think and what's made up in your mind. And so with that being said, you kind of go based off of that. So I do feel like all of us is a little are biased. Now, does that mean that you don't try to be fair and give all accounts and all sides? No, that's not what I'm saying, that you don't try your best to be fair. However, we're all a little biased based on our own perception of what we think. So yeah, definitely I would say both of them are biased. Yeah. But it's all in all of what you think. What's up, Mel NYC? I haven't seen you in a long time. I'll say this about this too, because I want to put this out here. I have not seen the same level of hate for Armand that I do see with Tisa. I feel now, mind you, Armand was harassed at the trial by that one lady saying, "Yeah, I want to go viral." I'm not excusing that, right? But I feel that Tisa has got more hate than Armand. Why is that? What happened to Limeisha? Listen, Limeisha went in hiding. I told all these conspiracy theorists, they went in hiding. Or Marat, he's a whole conspiracy. I should have did a video about him. He definitely a whole conspiracy theorist. The Marat Morali guy, yeah. Armand doesn't overdo it. Okay, that's the difference. Because she's pretty. That's why Armand is super funny. They are jealous of her. Or Rotten Mango, yeah. I feel like the others kind of get a pass. I feel like with the black people, we attack each other all the time. So I feel like with them, it's kind of like, oh, okay, whatever. They basically, the others, they're gonna do what they're gonna do, right? But because we're kind of like in a black space, I feel like that's why we more attack them than anything. What's up, River? River said Armand is a male and will defend himself. Okay, that makes sense. And you know what might help too is that Tisa will just ignore it and kind of take it, where with Armand, Armand is going to go off. Tisa has had a couple of moments where, she had to check a few people, but for the most part, she tries to do the when they go low, we go high thing. She do the Michelle Obama. Armand, he gonna get down in the gutter with you, and listen, he's one of the best, roasters on YouTube. So it hits a little different when Armand roasts you compared to when Tisa. And I'm not saying Tisa is no punk, but where Armand, he's very sharp with the tongue. You know what I mean? He's very sharp with that tongue. It might be her delivery. She delivers similar to a news broadcaster. Yeah, and I think also, too, y'all kind of like ratchet people. Here I go. So for those of you who don't know, you know that I grew up in the suburbs. I grew up privileged, all that stuff. Y'all know the history and stuff, right? So sometimes when you have people like me who people don't consider urban enough, I don't want to say black enough, but urban enough, y'all don't have the same appreciation for us. Y'all rather watch the Ratchets than to watch, Black Excellence, because I oh, here we go. Here we go. You know I'm gonna talk about shit. You'll rather watch, the Ratchets, like a Jaguar ride or something like that, than to watch somebody who's very articulate, very smart, very sexy, very educated. You rather watch that than watch. I mean, you rather not watch that and watch somebody who kind of gives you all the. But also, too, there's different flavors for different folks. Like, I think that some people, like, for example, Armand is very funny. He's very charismatic. And I'm not necessarily saying Armand is ratchet. I don't want y'all to think that I'm saying that, but I guess I am saying that in a certain way. But with Tisa, she not gonna be like, girl, girl, the neck rolling, lip smacking. She's not gonna give you that. That's not her. Because I will say in YouTube, when I kind of came in this space, I was like, oh, I don't think they're gonna appreciate me. Like, I feel like I need to, do it up more, But me to do all that would be fake and phony. What's up, Blessing? That's Facts 82. I go through the same thing with folks. Thank you. Blessing know what I'm talking about. So you're saying our community would rather watch Boys in the Hood instead of Eve's Bayou? Yes. And I'll even say this. I think more people know Boys in the Hood than they do Eve Bayou. I actually like both movies. But yeah, that's what I'm saying essentially. Yep. Uh-huh. And I'm not saying that Black people aren't smart, they aren't educated. That's not what I'm saying. But the people that are up there and more in front of your face, YouTube works just like TV, right? YouTube understands, okay, I'm going to push this more, then I'm going to push the more articulate, Just like I'm going to push the ratchet negative news about Black people rather than something about how we need to come together as a community and, work together, blah, blah, blah. Listen, I'm not making this up. This is how it is, Oh, shit, it's hot. But this is how it is. Now, do I like it? No, I don't like that. I feel like there should be a fair balance. And I'm not even saying like, oh, all Black people need to be a certain kind of way. That's not what I'm saying. But we all know that certain people get appreciated more than others based on a perception. Armand is more entertaining and at least is balanced. The defense will have a win in court, and Tisa will still make it seem like they lost. Okay. That's fair. That's fair. I absolutely love Tisa Tells, so you don't like her, don't watch her, because they are plenty of us that will. Fair. Tisa loved the Lord. Someone said she was throwing up the Illuminati signs, which I hope is not. Wait, huh? I don't know anything about it. Y'all just be saying ridiculous shit. I don't think she was throwing no Illuminati. What y'all? Lord. Now y'all gonna start saying the YouTubers are a part of the Illuminati, even though there is a YouTube Illuminati. See, I can appreciate movies like The Joy Luck Club and Boys in the Hood and Our Friend Green Tomatoes and Belly. Those are the benefits of growing up in better neighborhoods. You have different friends. Yeah. What's up, Tanya V? People will hate watch. Yeah, I feel like either way, people will hate watch. It doesn't matter. That's what Sean Combs done to me. Yep, if one side was winning, she'll make it seem like they lost, but a few YouTubers were doing that. Yeah, and that's what I was honestly saying. I was saying that all of us are biased in our own way. Do we try to be fair? Yes, but technically all of us is biased. We already, at this point, I don't think there's anybody who doesn't have, excuse me, a perception of if they think Diddy is guilty or not guilty. I think everybody is locked in at this point. Anybody wavering, they're being scary. But I think at this point, we all have an opinion. Oh, they be getting her in the comments. Tisa energy and articulation is a vibe. I agree. I agree. Right. And here's the thing, there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that. Because I know the way that this video is going to be played, a lot of people are going to be like, oh, see, he's being biased against blah, 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 blah. And it's all like, no, I'm just saying that everybody is biased in their own way. I would be lying if I said, like, no, nobody's biased. Oh, you're just making that up. No, people are. What's up, the Rose Room? Armand is very unbiased. I like his take on this case so far. I watch Tisa. I also be waiting for Mims because he gives both sides. Yeah, Mims is very good at giving both sides. Jags junkies still trying to keep her name relevant. Not her junkies. What's up, clever girl? Yeah, but a lot of this I could go either way. When it comes to having an opinion or people being able to express their opinion without people judging them or thinking that they're a plant. I honestly feel, even with Dennis Byron, I don't think anybody's a plant, right? I think for the most part, just people are very biased and they have their opinions. I don't think anybody's being paid to say anything except the free Diddy people. We know the free Diddy people with the t-shirts and shit, like, we know they're being paid. But as far as the content creators, I don't think anybody is being paid. Like, I think y'all just, yeah, y'all going to the extreme. I don't think that at all. But anyway, you guys, let me know what you guys think in the comment section for the replay crew. Shout out to y'all. Let me know what y'all think about all of this. We talked about a lot today. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Please hit that like button. I think I'll be back in a minute. Oh, shout out to Queen Sheba. I like her. I like her. Yeah, she asked me to like collab on a show with her one time, and I don't know why we didn't, but I think it was my fault because I'll like DM somebody and then like we won't talk for a while. So yeah, shout out to her though. But anyway, love y'all. We'll be back a little later because I got some shit to talk. Deuces.